On now to the topic entitled Universal Investment Considerations. Now, that's quite a broad title, and really what's in this topic are things that apply to all investors. So we look at ethics, we look at regs, geopolitics, and ESG issues. So remember, this is an area that's going to be tested in the constructed response section of the exam, and you're going to get one question here which is going to be worth 10% of your exam in the second session. Now, I think given that there's universal investment considerations here that kind of overlap with each other, ethics, ESG, regulations particularly, I mean, they don't overlap massively, but they have similar themes. Maybe you could expect your constructed response question to dip in and out of different readings here rather than coming from one specific reading. It's just a little bit of guidance for you. So, first up, we're going to look at professionalism and fiduciary responsibilities. So we need to know what it means to be professional, and we need to know what it means to have to carry out your fiduciary duty. So fiduciary duty is where you look after a client, you act in your client's best interests rather than your own. You need to know that you exhibit loyalty, you exhibit prudence and care. In terms of investment fiduciary duty, you don't face risks that are not rewarded, so you're diversified. And you exhibit impartiality as well. In other words, you're not biased or in any way swayed, bribed. It's a crucial part of exhibiting fiduciary duty. Now, being professional, it does warrant a discussion what it means to be professional. Being professional is all about doing the right thing and being responsible. So adhering to best practice of the industry. And best practice, of course, would be in accordance with the rules and the regulations and generally how it's done. You would continue learning. Actually, that's a professional thing to do. So just you being here is very professional of you. All right. You would avoid unnecessary risks. So that is linked in to this requirement to diversify from a fiduciary's perspective. In other words, removing unnecessary risks. And you would essentially do your job properly. You'd have diligence and carrying out your role, which is linked to the prudence and care. Prudence is, not taking too much risk and doing things carefully. So these are lists which kind of melt into each other a little bit unless you put a bit of colour on them. If you can think of a professional, think of the CAIA Association acting as an industry body for investment professionals. All right, and we're learning what the best way to do things are at conferences and with webinars and networking events. We're learning through the CAIA program. We're not doing things recklessly, and we are diligently doing our job. So if you can put those together as like a CAIA professional, more generally from a fiduciary perspective, it's all about the client really, making sure that you do the right thing for the client, you do it properly, you're not taking unnecessary risks financially, and you're impartial, you're not biased, which could cause conflicts with what your client's needs are. Okay, so we come into this reading, and so I'm just filling in those words. If those words are going to appear in massive letters on a slide, we need to make sure we understand what they are. Okay, this reading